And it just wasn't the right announcement sort of for the Q4 summit, and so I didn't do it. But I get to do it today, which is exciting. I kind of have to set it up a little bit, tee it up a little bit, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to give you some quick history. So the session you guys are all in right now, office hours. Some of you it's your first session attending. Some of you have been here since day one, and everyone in between. But we started, office hours in typical ASF fashion. Like, hey, I have an idea. Okay, yeah, what is it? It's this. All right, great. Let's do it. Let's ship it immediately and see how it goes. And, when we did that, this notion of getting your customers into a Zoom session and teaching the thing and taking questions on all that Zoom office hours is in its permutations, there was no real playbook for that. There was no one else to copy or go look at and get some inspiration from, because as far as we knew, no one was doing it. It was like brand new. It was like the confluence of the technology all being available and stable, and then coming up with the idea and doing it, right? And so it was also office hours right when we launched it in the times of COVID, right? So, attendance was crazy right out of the gates because everyone was home. Everyone was switched on. So the attendance right out of the gates was out of control. And I believe it was a completely groundbreaking initiative then. Like I said, no companies were doing it. No companies in any space that I was aware of, let alone our space, was doing anything like it. And as far as I know, I don't think any of them are still to this day. If anybody knows, by the way, put the names of the company in the chat, because I would love to study how others are doing it and try to make our product better. And yes, I know some companies here and there are running webinars from time to time, but nobody I'm aware of runs 9 of them a week, which is what we're up to currently, every single solitary week in, week out, without stopping. So that was our office hours product sort of 1.0. And we made some changes. We made some tweaks along the way, some shifts in the duration of the sessions, some shifts in who the hosts were. We tried breaking out folks that were just getting started versus folks that had a little bit more traction at one point in time. And then eventually we sort of stopped making it a priority because COVID was winding down. We're like, are they spending too much time in these sessions? Should they just better be spending that time on marketing? And we kind of pulled back on them a little bit. And we quickly realized that was a bad idea. Office hours, and for lack of a better term, it's children, all the other sessions that we've launched. It really was a groundbreaking product. You guys really did find value in it, and it was solving a bunch of headaches that we couldn't solve as efficiently any other way. So we did our best to reboot and come back with Office Hours version 2.0, if you like, the reboot. And Nick and I started hosting again. We also made sure all the company's top brass and top executives were teaching and available to everybody in the company. It's a groundbreaking thing that any customer, no matter who you are, what kind of clout you have, whether you signed up today, whether you've been with us for 10 years, can come and air your grievances, get advice, talk to the top brass in the company, right? And then we started investing in training new hosts and operators and getting people up to speed and getting people comfortable and getting people to know the Art Storefront's way of doing things, right? And then we started following up aggressively in the chat and trying to solve problems in the Zoom chat while going through the hands and answering questions live that way. And then, Zoom introduced breakout rooms, right? And as a new feature, and what was a groundbreaking product to begin with became even more so. Now we have the ability to put tech-related questions and support-related questions, which on balance are really personal type of questions, meaning the answer really only applies to you for the most part, versus the more broad marketing and business questions that everyone can benefit from hearing from. And so we created the breakout rooms, right? The support rooms and the co-pilot rooms. And, we shipped that one the one time as an idea. And then, after the first one, we realized, okay, this is a hit, and we've rolled it out onto every single solitary session. So at any point in any session that you come into, whether you're there to hear a speech and you want to know what they're presenting, or you're just there to get support, you can pop in, throw the thing into the chat, boom, you're moved into the room, right? And is the product perfect? No, absolutely not. It's perfect. It's not even close to perfect. Myself, Art Storefronts, we're aware of all the issues, the downsides, the long lines for questions, right? You're sitting there for hours trying to get your hand raised, and then you get moved into one room and it doesn't get solved and it comes back to the other. And some folks are really long-winded with their questions. And then you got seasoned veterans that are at a different level in their business hearing questions from people that are just getting started. It doesn't really apply to them. Really long sessions. Some people have day jobs. They can't attend when we run the sessions, right? And so it's a really hard problem to solve, to make these individual sessions, as valuable as possible for a group that is as diverse as you guys are. Different levels of tech acumen, different stages of your career, different goals, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, we keep hacking at it and trying to make it better. So, what I'm very proud of with Office Hours and its various different offspring is that, whether you judge it as a good product now or not, what are you comparing it to, right? Like Office Hours focuses on solving the big problem, the biggest problem. And it's okay, great. You have a website complete. Now what? Now what? Your website's up. Now what? Like all of our competition is good luck and mostly fend for yourself, right? Here's some free education you can read. Go ahead and read that. Or, oh, by the way, you're stuck on something. We have a forum. You can search posts in there. There's about 6 on your topic with 300 threaded comments on it. I hope you find an answer, right? Or then you'd better go hire a consultant or read blog posts or join some other group where you can learn and you can feel you're supported on the journey. And, the website in all of this, you guys, is nothing more than the first step on a long journey. It's not even 0.5% of the journey. It's a very, very little bit. And so in terms of where Office Hours sits currently, Office Hours 2.0, as imperfect as it is, okay, I still think it's something, even at version 2.0, that I'm very proud of, that it differentiates us quite a bit from any other company out there, and quite frankly is groundbreaking and innovative, not only in this industry, but in any industry, and I'm proud of that. But at the end of the day, we have to go back to my restaurant analogy. It's very important to me, okay? You guys are all just chefs, okay? Your superpower is cooking. And yet you're trying to run a restaurant and not just being the chef, but now you're on the phones, taking reservations. You're greeting the diners, right? You are seating the diners. You're taking the orders. You're the sommelier. You're the bartender. You have to clean up everything after the fact, right? And that's the nature of an art of photography business, because you're a solopreneur. You have to wear all of the hats. And so really the history, the evolution of this company, both where we've come from and where we're going, is trying to take as many of those jobs, okay, in our proverbial restaurant away from you, right? And, I've given the analogy, okay, the website and the fact that it can take commerce, maybe that knocks out the gal on the phone taking reservations or the guy taking the reservations. And then the fact that you can do print on demand and we build the website for you, maybe that knocks out the maitre d', right? And then the fact that we have this marketing education for you and support and all of that, maybe that knocks out the bartender, right? And then, Copilot knocks out even more of it, right? And so that analogy, trying to take these things away from you that you don't need to be doing so you can go focus on your superpower, which is creating the art, and downstream from that, marketing a little bit about who you are, is really, really important to us, right? And if we can keep doing that and keep iterating and evolving the product, getting to the point where we take the nonsense stuff off of your plate and let you focus on the stuff, that is going to give your business the greatest chance at success, the greatest opportunity to grow, to hit the heights that you have, your ambition for your business. And it works the other way too, because selfishly for us, it's our job at ASF, okay, for the people that cancel and that are upset and that are leaving, right? They want to leave, life stuff aside, or they're just moving on in life, whatever. Like, the only 2 reasons I want someone heading for the exits is that you're not successful, and that could be because the work didn't sell, it wasn't good enough, whatever, it didn't have a big enough addressable market, or 2, that you didn't do the marketing, right? If those 2 things are true, and that's the reason that you left, and that's the reason you're unhappy, I can handle that. I can handle that because we as a team at Art Storefronts have done everything that we can to give you the greatest chance of succeeding, right? Like, we're not perfect, but it's about the whole entire package of what we provide, giving you guys the greatest chance to get there, right? Not that it didn't work out because your website didn't work, or transactions weren't going through, or printed orders weren't arriving on time, or you couldn't figure out how to do something or learn how to market or any of the rest of that. So today's announcement, okay, which is really, as you will soon see as I visualize this, something we've already sort of soft launched without talking about, is just the next step in this whole process, is another version of just ship it, right? And, of course, it's just an idea at this point, and of course, I need to get your feedback. I want to hear what you guys think about this in the chat. It's going to have to be us marshaling a bunch of different resources and making changes, but I am quite bullish on the idea and excited about it. And I think it's sort of hard to visualize this without visuals. And so let me just get a visual, right? And so currently, as it stands at Art Storefronts, I got to get onto the right tab. If you come into your dashboard, right, and you go marketing, join a live workshop, you're greeted with this lovely little graphic, right? And on here, we can see all of the various different sessions that we have on a weekly basis. All of the various different sessions for any reason you can pop into and get support, okay? Whether you're there for the session or not, I don't care what it is, what it says, you can currently go into any of those and say, I need tech help, I need Copilot help, throw me in those rooms, get me dialed in, right? Okay, awesome, wonderful, I love that. But this is really hard to visualize, right? This is really, really hard to visualize. So I had Juan whip me up a nice little spreadsheet today, and that's what it actually looks like, right? And so we need to get that visual up so it's clearer to understand. But it's like, as you're going about your day, doing whatever it is that you're doing, right? That is what it looks like Monday through Friday as currently constituted. You can jump into any one of those sessions at any point in time just because you have a tech support related issue. That's it, right? You go right in there. You say, I need tech help. You go right in there. You say, I need Copilot help. They will help you. And, you know, depending on which one you go into, especially if it's not the highly attended office hours, the lines in those ones are very short. You're not number 9 in line. You're like number 2 in line, or maybe you're first in line, right? And that's very, very important to me. And so what I realized, the next iteration of this, okay, the next iteration that we needed this, and, you know, I'm allowed to say things because everyone knows I fly off the handle and I'm not to be trusted around here, okay, and overpromise. But we're not promising to do this yet, but my vision is to have one standing Zoom session from 9 to 5 every single solitary day with breakout rooms. It's open all day long. Open from 9 to 5. You're having an issue. Whenever you're having the issue, you go into the Zoom session and you get placed into the breakout room of choice, right? That is how it would work. And you can say, hey, I need tech support. Hey, I need Copilot support, right? And in you go, you get your problem solved and it's out. So that is the idea. That is where I want to take it. In a perfect world, if you guys availed yourself of it all the time and you felt like, you know, that this is making you move faster and not getting hung up on nonsense, and you're continuing to work on your marketing, which, let's be honest, is the only damn thing that I care about, okay, then what would that look like, right? Like, we have a diverse customer base that spreads, you know, all the way from Eastern Standard to like our Hawaiian folks, let alone our European folks. And so we have an international workforce. I mean, could we potentially take this thing from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. every single solitary day? We could. Would it make sense? I don't know. But this is what I'm pitching you guys on, and I want to see if this is something that you would avail yourselves of, that you think would be valuable. If there is just a standing Zoom room link, in you go. When you need help, you get it solved immediately, right? You get it solved immediately because, again, I want that crap off of your plate. So let me know on that. Throw those ideas into the chat. Where it would potentially go from here, right? Where it would potentially go from here. And you realize, too, that all of those things, aside from the summits, okay, runs all on the same Zoom link. It's all just one Zoom link. So you could potentially, whether it's on your phone or on your computer, bookmark the damn thing, okay, so you have it. And then if you're up against something, boom, hit it, boom, go in there, get the thing solved, and come out, right? You don't care what's even being presented in the session, and then there wouldn't be a session in the in-between times. And so that's where I want to take it. Obviously, we have to figure out how to staff it, how we're going to be able to do that, because I'm not sure I've been granted additional resources for this yet, so I might be pulling it away from somewhere else. So I put a fire under everybody's butt in the company to figure out how the hell we're going to do this. We will start extending the hours somewhere, and I'm sure we'll probably be announcing that, you know, next week sometime. And then it's just going to come down to, like, are you guys popping in there to get things done, right? Are you popping in there to ask questions and get unstuck? Are you finding it valuable? If that is the case, I will continue to push to try and expand out the hours, okay? And it might be, you know, after hours on the crazy times, we might only be able to have one person in there, right? Not 50. And one person, like, not everybody is a Swiss Army knife, right? So it's really hard to get one person that knows all of the tech stuff, sorry, I'm getting the sweater off, these damn lights are bright, that knows all of the tech stuff, that knows all of the Copilot stuff, and can answer the marketing questions. I mean, that's a total unicorn, right? Like, no one can do that. I don't even know the tech stuff. I don't even know the Copilot stuff, a little bit of it. So that is the idea. That is the big announcement. I'm sort of excited about it. It, like, dovetails with, you know, my whole analogy-driven game, which is, like, I just want you guys cooking. I just want you working on the dishes and not all the rest of the nonsense. So that is potentially where we're going. Kyra, I think it's more valuable than live chat. I think it's more valuable than a live chat assistant personally, because you can just get right in and it's instantaneously a screen share. There's companies that do chat really, really well, and chat's great, but oftentimes those folks won't do screen share. You can't send screenshots. You can't take over their control of their computer, and then you're just wasting your time, right? You're just wasting your time. So there's nothing more effective than the Zoom, right? The downside of the Zoom is sometimes you're in line, but even with like the best companies that do the chat support, like I'm still in line for all of those. You open it up on a browser, and then they're going to get to your number 9 in line, right? And then you hope you hear something at some point in time, and then you're sitting by the computer when you're actually there to do it. But I think, on balance, like, this is the best way that we can support you. This is the best way you can have the visual connection. You can feel like you can get a question answered at any point in time. I mean, I know how often you guys have these panic attacks about some big opportunity that came up. You don't want to blow it. What should I do? And then eventually we would add to the tech support, to the Copilot support, marketing support, right? And so we'll have some people that can answer, marketing questions, and boom, you would pop in there, right? And you'd be able to get a basic marketing question. It might not be from me or Juan or whoever it is, but someone that knows the basic playbook and like that can help you and get you dialed in. So that's my idea. That's where I want to take it to. I think, like I said, it is utterly, totally, completely groundbreaking. I am fully aware of the deficits and the pitfalls of this particular product, but who else even has anything like this? Is anyone else aware of another company that supports their customers this much after the fact? I want to know about it because I want to go copy someone else than us. We've never had a playbook, and I like copying, okay? I learned from Mark Zuckerberg. He's the best. Copied Snapchat and TikTok, so I'll do the same. We'd love to hear if there is one. So that's the idea. That's what I want to do. Obviously, it will be announced, it'll roll out, and then essentially what will happen is we'll get this calendar, because I honestly, like today when I was contemplating this, before Juan made this thing, I was like, I looked at what we have currently, and it's like this, and it's like, I can't visualize that. What the hell is that? I can't even, what is going on there? I don't know what the hell's going on with that. And then you look at this, and you're like, now this makes sense, right? I can see the blocks that are active already. They're all the same session. So all we have to do is the tech support session ends. I'm looking at Wednesday. Okay, great. We're just going to fill in those other 2 boxes. And then it'll go right into the Copilot session. And when that ends, maybe we keep it on for like another hour, right? So ideally, I would like to see the whole entire damn map filled out, okay? And that's the vision. That's the goal. Announcements forthcoming. Yes, Barbara, you better believe it. We're going to ship it. You never know how it's going to go. But again, I mean what I said. Like, I'm very, very proud of our office hours product where it is already. And I know we can keep dialing it in and getting it better and better and better. So you guys will all